everyone, today is Goddess Chronicles episode 2 and today I have with me the wonderful Priestess B. B, could you please introduce yourself and tell us about your connection to Avalon?
Okay, so my name is B. Halligan. I am a priestess of Avalon and a priestess of Caradwen. As fact, I'm an adoratrix of Caradwen. That's a different story. I have been here in Avalon. I came here first 16 years ago, and I started circling with the ceremony in the goddess temple. I started working with people in the chalice well, and then 8 years ago I was called to come to Avalon and do the training for the priestess of Avalon, because they worked with Caradwen, and I was writing a PhD in who in the world was working with Caradwen. So I worked with the Anglesey Druid Order, with the Sisters of Avalon in the States, with Obot, in which Caradwen is in the first year, and this was going to be my fourth case study for my PhD, and unfortunately I never left. I stuck I stuck in Avalon because I came into a place that finally and truly made me feel at home, made me feel like I belong, made me feel like I'm not the nutter in the corner. Having been a pagan for over 30 years, it was like, it was like coming home and meeting people that understood what I was talking about, and people who love Caradwen. So that for me was the most important part.
So I know that the goddess Caradwen is the goddess you work with most, but what does the divine feminine and the goddess as an overall, like how do you what does it mean to you in your spiritual practice, and how do you see it?
I'm one of the unmothered children, the people who have never felt they fitted or belonged anywhere, and I think a lot of us who are in Avalon feel that way. And for me, when I met Goddess, I felt like I'd come home. I'd come home, and it doesn't matter whether it's the Lady of Avalon, to whom I'm also dedicated, or the goddess Caradwen, or I work with Lilith, Morgana, Hecate, and they all have different flavors. But one thing they have in common, and that's unconditional love. They hold us, they take care of us, and I don't mean in the way like they hold you by the hand and tell you what to do. They will help you actually move forward in your life to become a person that you truly can be in love with, that you can be happy about. They bring you into your bliss. And for me, the divine feminine is in every woman that I meet, and probably in quite a few men as well, or anything in between. There is that kind, caring, loving part of all of us that reflects the divine feminine, whether it is the universal divine feminine or the divine feminine in the land. And as a Druid, I work a lot with the land, and the land is Mother Earth. And again, it's that giving and that receiving, that gifting of beautiful things that we all receive from the goddess and from what you call the divine feminine.
That's so beautiful. Living in Avalon is quite an experience, as you know. How do you experience and express your connection to the divine feminine and the goddess just in your everyday life?
So being a full-time priestess means that I wake up in the morning thinking of Goddess, and I go to sleep at night thinking of Goddess. I teach a course, well actually I now teach 2 courses, the Death Priestess course and the Priestess of Caradwen course. So obviously I'm in connection with my students every day, all day. I'm a healer here in this beautiful room in Goddess House that I created with these priestesses and priests. I'm a minister in the temple. I'm a ceremonialist in the Goddess temple, seasonal ceremonies. I'm a part of the weavers, people that create the temple. So my whole life is suffused. My family says almost to an exclusion of their presence. I don't think that's quite true, but I do put the temple and the goddess before pretty much everything else. Probably not my grandson, but yeah, Goddess is for me the guiding light of everything I do every day of my life.
That's so beautiful. Does Caradwen speak to you? And I Have you learnt to recognise her voice quite specifically in your mind, or does she speak to you in many different ways and through her animals? Or tell us about your connection to Ceridwen specifically.
So she is inside of me, and she's outside of me. She's actually inside and out, which is a bit freaky. But goddesses all have a different flavor. Now, as a priestess, you learn how to embody. Embodiment means that you open yourself up, you clear out your own identity and personality for a while, not forever, and you allow yourself to become a channel, a vessel for goddess. And we can all do that. It doesn't matter who you are if you learn how to do it. And you sort of have this funnel of light into which you call whomever you wish to call. So you can call Ceridwen, or you can call the Lady of Avalon, or you can call Bridget. And all priestesses in all paths and who work with any kind of goddess will learn that on the courses that they do. And there is something that you have to be very clear on. Having a goddess in your consciousness, it's a bit addictive. It's a bit like chocolate. So you have to have people who know how to bring you into. I mean, you bring yourself in, but you have to have people who bring you out of embodiment. But every one of them has a separate flavor. Every one of them has their own individual, almost like a personality. So when I open myself and I call in the Lady of Avalon, is a different experience than if I call in Kerr or Banva or Ceridwen or even Lilith. You know, Lilith is outrageous. I do that very rarely because I get a little bit outrageous. Yeah, so she's an amazing goddess. So yeah, that's what we do. We open ourselves up to goddess and we allow her to act through us, whether we're healing or we oracling or we do embodiment where we are asked questions and things. So yeah, that's goddess for us.
That's lovely. One more question. How does your spiritual practice in relation to Avalon and the goddess empower you in your sovereignty? How does working in Avalon with the goddess empower you to feel more sovereign every day?
I don't really know. I have some issues with sovereignty because I am in my own power. I am asked to do what is right for the people that I deal with. And we all deal with different people. I have to be responsible and I have to be accountable for what I do or I say, because we've got people coming here from all over the world. They come to see the priestesses, and there is a certain, it's not a notoriety, but people look at you and they see the blue sign on your forehead, they've seen the movie, they've read the book, and they come in here with starry eyes. And it's up to us to show them that we are actually just normal people. We are people who have our own difficulties, our own problems, but we all have Goddess on our side because we've dedicated to her. We work with her all day. So she gives us that power. She empowers us to stand and hold the energy for the people who come here, who want to see what it's like to be a priestess. And sometimes that can be difficult, especially if we have situations like we've had for the last 2 years, but we have to stand strong, and that's where sisterhood comes in. Nobody here is an island. We are all connected. The women stand together. We do have our difficulties, and we try and sort them out. We are not above any having a little bit of a, trauma sometimes, but on the whole, it's a loving relationship with sisters that actually empowers all of us, and we all in our sovereignty. We all stand together. We all hold hands, and we see each other's heart, and we see the hearts of the people that come. And I think right now it is really important for us to step out into the world and speak about what we know to be true, that the divine feminine, the mother, the energy of the love, the mother world, it is the only way forward now. We are in deep trouble here on this planet, and we have to address what is wrong. We see that every day. And when people come here, they tell us about their stories, about their trauma, about their, the things that they feel sorry about and suffer from. And if we don't hold each other in our highest, I don't like the word highest, in our strongest vibration, I think that's the more important thing. And we get that from Goddess, and Goddess empowers us. And that's really where I get my strength from, where I get my power from, where I get my sovereignty from. You know, she said, "Be, you're needed in the world. Off you go, it's a job to do." If you think we swan around, we work very hard.
No, you do. You can feel it in the space. You definitely do deep healing in here.
Yeah.
If as the voices of Caradwen, as a Caradwen priestess, what do you think her message to anyone that sees this video, wherever they are in the world and whatever time, because it might be online for a long time, we hope. What do you think she'd say to everyone to help them to feel more empowered and authentic and safe?
I think she would say, do what I do. What would Caradwen do? See the best in everyone. Even if it's somebody that you're not necessarily simpatical with, somebody that might not be to your taste. It's about seeing their heart. It's about seeing their soul. It's knowing that we're all the same, that we are all similar to each other. We all struggle. We all have our own troubles, and that we need to love each other more. That judgment is one of the things that she is not very keen on. She says discernment is good, judgment is not so good. Please take people as the loving kindness that they are. Everybody has a soul. Every being in the world has a soul. You know, as Druids, we think everything is ensouled. So look for the heart. Look for the shining soul. See beyond the facade. See beyond the personality. See beyond the face, into their soul, and love them. Just love them. No division. We are all the same. We all love each other. And that's really all I ever look at.
That is such a wonderful message. Bea, thank you so much for your time. On behalf of everyone who's going to see this video, thank you for your beautiful words, and we look forward so much to hearing you talk about Caradwen at the Goddess Conference 2022.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.